Would I start trading again knowing all the things that I know now? There I was with zero clue about what I was doing because I did the deposit abroad and I basically went to some guy who just took my money. You guys have absolutely zero idea how long I've been procrastinating recording this video. But hello everybody, my name is Aurora and I am a Forex trader. And in this video I just want to tell you a little bit about how I've started trading, how it's been going, what my plans are, would I start trading again knowing all the things that I know now, and so on and so forth. Everything started when I was doing my undergrad and I downloaded the app Binance. Many of you probably know it. It's like this virtual crypto wallet thing. I haven't been using it at all since then, but that's how I got into trading. And somebody I knew told me about signals and buying crypto and flipping money and stuff, but I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I absolutely had zero understanding about Binance and crypto and how to even enter positions correctly. The very first time I deposited around 900 US dollars, and a couple of days later I was at $1,300. And I absolutely didn't understand how or why or how I would even get the money out of Binance because I did the deposit abroad and I basically went to some guy who just took my money and then transferred it to my Binance account. So there I was with zero clue about what I was doing, $1,300 on my Binance account, and then I just lost track on it. So I didn't really have a plan on what to learn and where to learn, and I didn't do any research, so I basically forgot about it completely for a couple of months to a couple of years. And then around the time I finished my undergrad, I started thinking about trading again. And as you know, the algorithms work in mysterious ways, and as soon as you start thinking about something, it starts popping up into your For You page everywhere. So I was following this German model on Instagram, and completely out of the blue, she posted like a story about a trading event in the city where I was living. No cap. And I felt like this was destiny because I wanted to learn about trading and I didn't know where to go. I didn't even start researching on Google about what to trade or how to invest money or where to learn and stuff. I didn't do any of that. I was thinking about the time when I was in high school and I wanted to have to do something with stocks and trading and charts and investment and stuff, which is why I also did my undergrad in business mathematics. Either way, this model posted this event in the city where I was living in Germany. So I just thought, let me just sign up for it. It was like 50 euros or something for the event. And I just went without expecting anything. And when I went there, I met like 15 to 20 traders, I think. They were all part of this group within one academy, which I think doesn't exist now or is like off business right now. So they were all part of one academy and they were like a subgroup of them. Back then I had no idea about trading and network marketing and those pyramid things and stuff. So I had zero idea about anything. But then they started talking about how they trade and how they earn money. And I don't know, when you meet people, it's completely different to when you see things online. Like when you see somebody trying to convince you about something or trying to sell you something online, you can often be schemed without even knowing it. But when you talk to people in real life, you can see their mimics, you can see their body language, their reactions. You have kind of a gut feeling of whether the people in front of you are lying to you or trying to sell you something that isn't true. So they told me a little bit about trading and how their experience was. So it wasn't like a trading workshop, they just talked about their experience and how it's been going. And then they introduced me to the idea of prop trading. So if you've never heard of prop trading, it's basically you trade with a capital of a firm if you pass some certain evaluation. So for example, you would invest a fraction of the money they would give you. So let's say they are giving you 100K of capital, which is actually 10K, and you need to pass a certain evaluation, which costs $500. So you would basically get 20 times more capital than you were investing. So if you pass the evaluation, the prop firm would give you money, and they would take a percentage of your wins. And if you don't pass the evaluation, they would take your investment. So like the $500 or the $50 or the $200 that you invested, they would take as a fee. For the prop firm, it's basically a win-win. And that group introduced me to that concept because I was a student and I had a part-time job making around 1K, 1.5K a month. So investing like 10K in capital and stuff wasn't just in the cards for me. And I was also a complete beginner and I didn't want to put in that much money. And then I ended up joining that group for about a year. And considering how many stories I've heard about traders from all over the world now being scammed or being put into groups which weren't helpful at all, I was honestly very lucky with the group that I got into. I mean, of course, they were part of a bigger company, but they still operated within their own capacity. So they had their own small WhatsApp group and they had their calls a couple times a week and stuff. So it was like some sort of mentoring. And I wasn't paying them directly. I was paying basically the academy, and then they would get their percentages with whatever. I don't know. I never asked them, but I learned how these things work later on, which is why I understand why they were so interested in getting me into the group, even though they weren't directly making money off me. But all in all, it doesn't matter, because the things that I learned in that group during that time for a year were really valuable. I never watched any YouTube video on Forex up until then, ever. I never knew what Forex was. I never knew the difference between Forex and stocks and futures or commodities and stuff. Looking back at how things happened, I consider myself very lucky because I met good people right away. I didn't have those initial negative experiences that many traders have. I got to learn the basics of Forex. I got to trade and observe demo quite a long time. I didn't watch 17 hours of courses or like go through books and stuff. I just watched a couple of videos on the very basics of charts. And then I spent the next couple of months just observing charts and trading with demo, trying out the strategy that they taught me. It was a scalping strategy. So the time between you entering a trade and you closing a trade is usually a couple of minutes to a couple of hours. So most of the trades are finished quite fast. There are also traders that keep trades going on for days and weeks and stuff. But for a beginner, I'm very glad that I wasn't introduced to that, because I would have lacked the patience to keep waiting for that long. The first couple of months I spent demo trading with fake money. I bought my very first prop challenge of 20K, which back then cost about $300. And my first prop challenge, I completely failed because I wasn't very familiar with the technicalities of the rules. Like, I understood the rules as a concept, but not some certain technicalities which you learn either the hard way or are super prepared by someone. So within those first 6 months of Forex trading, I invested in 2 or I think 3 prop challenges, but I didn't pass any of them. I didn't even pass the first evaluation phase because I just wasn't a really good trader back then. A couple more months go by and I did manage to pass a challenge. I didn't manage to make any money. I was spending around $250 a month for that subscription to that academy. Looking back, I don't regret it because I learned a lot of things very fast and I always had somebody to talk to. Like the people in the group were super nice, and the mentors or like the leaders of the group, they were keeping track on you. Like every month they would call you or they would text you and stuff. So I really felt like I wasn't alone. And then one of the group leaders just suggested to me that instead of going back to demo trading or just keep prop trading, that I should deposit like $100 into one account. So that is how I went from prop trading to live trading. So for the beginners again, prop trading is like doing fake challenges, demo challenges for you to get some money from the prop firm. But live trading is basically you putting in your own money and then trading it. So if you make profits, you can directly withdraw them, you can buy something with them. If you make losses, it's your money that you lost. So you can see the effect of your trades immediately. Whereas with the prop challenges, it felt more of like a prolonged demo trading experience. Because you weren't making any real money, you invested that initial cost, but nothing was really moving in your bank account. So I invested those first $100 into my live trading account. And it was December. And from December up until mid-January, I managed to flip those $100 to $1,000. So that was actually the first time that I managed to make money through Forex trading. The question is, what happened to that money? It was my very first time trading live capital. I didn't expect to be good at live capital from the beginning. Maybe I just had a very good run. It wasn't like I had one single trade that shot up. It was like consecutive good trades. I even had setbacks and stuff, but I managed to 10x that account. And I remember the day that I blew that account. I had entered a trade during Asia session and then I went to sleep because I live in Germany, so Asia session is basically during the night. So I put in a trade and then I went to sleep, and when I woke up, my balance had gone from $1,000 to $1,200. So I basically made 20% with that trade. And I woke up at like 8 a.m. and saw the blue positive numbers. Back then I didn't think, oh, you made 20% of your capital. Oh, you made $200. Oh, that money in your account is basically 1 month's salary for you. I just thought, $200, we can do $500 today. And then I went back to sleep. The trade went into stop loss. I was back at $800 for the day. And then in the afternoon, I entered a gold trade. So this was also the time where I started watching YouTube videos of other traders, and I learned about a concept called DCA, which is basically once you're in a trade and it goes into the negative, the more it goes into the negative, the more you add positions to it, the more you add risk to it, so that once it does just half of the move, you will get back your money, basically. Maybe I didn't explain it well, but it was basically the more negative your trade gets, the more positions you add in. And it had worked a couple of times. But this time, gold went onto all-time high on that exact day. So it went up like $100, which back then was a lot. So it's not like today. Back then it was like something crazy you'd never seen before. And I kept adding positions and kept adding positions. And then my equity dropped so low that I was getting like margin calls and stuff. So my broker was basically about to close my positions because I was running out of money. And then I went into my bank account and then I transferred an additional $500 into that first live account to save that money that was flying away basically with gold. And then gold just didn't stop. It went on to higher and higher and higher and higher. And around the time I blew my account, it did like $2-3 more and then it dropped. So the lesson that I learned that time was basically in trading, you can do everything right and see just a little progress. But if you do one thing wrong, one time, the market is definitely going to punish you. Does this mean that I learned my lesson right away and never made the same mistake again? No, it doesn't. But sometime I got the hang of it. I invested a little bit more capital over the time, and then me and my partner started documenting all of our trades. If I would put my trading into stages, it was like interested in trading, started to learn trading, demo trading, prop trading, live trading, and then I went into the reflection phase. So basically reflecting on your trades, starting to document your journey with actual numbers and actual tables to make statistics and to get some realistic expectations of where this thing was going. Even though I made money with trading, and even though I heard so many people that make money with trading, I never considered it as an option for a full-time job back then. But once I started documenting what I was doing and how the trades were going and what the results were over a consistent period of time, like over 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, I started ignoring my emotions and I started believing the data, and I just saw how much potential there was in this industry. If you are looking to get into the world of prop trading yourself and want to try a couple of prop challenges from a reliable, trusted, even audited prop firm, then I can definitely recommend checking out Ola Prime. They have so many different options for accounts and leverage, direct accounts. You can pass a $300,000 challenge in one step, but they have also very affordable options starting from less than $30 if you use code Aurora in the checkout for 30% off. If on the other hand you say that prop trading is not for you and you would rather go in for live capital, then Ola Prime Markets also has a very good solution for you. With very transparent overviews and very competitive spreads, you can now open your Ola Prime Markets account and even get a 15% bonus on your first deposit. If you want to check them out, I put all the links in the bio. During this whole time, I was only trading live. After a couple of months, I tried a prop challenge again. I think I bought 3 or 4 challenges. 3 challenges, I paced phase 1. 1 challenge I passed completely, which was the first time I'd ever passed a challenge. But the things that I was doing with live capital was comparatively more impressive because I was consistently flipping so many accounts over a period of 10 to 12 months. And then during my master studies, I was also in between like some part-time jobs, which weren't making me super happy. So during this time, while I was working on my trading skills, documenting the journey, I was also looking for other options to earn money online, because I was fed up with office jobs, even though I wasn't working full-time. So I actually decided to quit those jobs and go in full-time with remote jobs. I tried so many different things, invested in a couple of different programs, whether it was sales or working as an AI trainer. Trading was still going on. I basically had a $0 net worth and invested most of my money into learning some skills or trying to build some remote business or something that would just keep me afloat until I figured one of those things out. So one of those things had to work out for me, whether it was sales or trading or my AI jobs. One of them had to work out because I just decided for myself that I wasn't going back to an office job. And at times it was super hard because trading wasn't always going well. There were bad phases, good phases. And I felt like in the good phases, I wasn't making as much profit as I should have, considering the numbers. And in the bad phases, I was basically losing exactly that what I was supposed to lose. So you have expectations, right? You have expectations of how much you would make if everything was going well and how much you would lose when everything was going wrong. But when emotions come in the way and life kind of comes in the way and you're mentally preoccupied with different things, you can feel it in your profitable days. Like the profitable days weren't as profitable as they should have been because I was starting to feel insecure, starting to feel unsure, not trusting the numbers that I had documented so rigorously for months. But the bad days were completely bad days. Like they were going how they were supposed to go, but since the good days weren't going as they were supposed to go, the balance was quite off. Which brings me to one of the last phases of learning Forex and learning trading, which is the emotional and psychological part. Starting trading can be a really delicate thing depending on where you're at financially, emotionally, psychologically. If you are a very anxious person or a depressed person or have a lot of responsibilities going on, then starting to trade with real money or real capital will definitely not help you. You will have to be in a relatively stable place or have very low commitments and very low obligations towards other people to be able to really make trading work. If you're stressed out all the time, if you sleep wrong, if you eat wrong, if you have the wrong friends. My family didn't know that I was trading. Also, they also didn't know how much money I was investing, but it was in a controlled space. So I was a student. I didn't really have any huge commitments except for myself. And I knew that I could handle that at that time. And trading was interesting to me. It looked like the things all those Wall Street guys do. I was amazed by the industry and I found it just cool. I was super interested and I wanted to learn it and I wanted to make money with it. Did I expect that it would be so expensive over time? Not in the beginning, but I don't regret it either. And I also don't make myself feel bad that it didn't work out right away, like within the first year. I've heard stories of people that make their first payout within a couple of months, that make 6 figures within half a year. That wasn't me. And looking back now, I think that's okay. I was in university for so many years and I didn't expect my first paying job to be like 10K a month. Why would I expect to learn trading for 6 months and then my first month to be a 10K month? That is definitely something you need to consider for yourself before you start trading. Can trading make you a lot of money? Yes, it can. If you learn the right system from the beginning, if you're patient and if you're consistent. And I believe that this video turned out a little bit more serious than I planned it to be, but I think it's an okay beginning for this channel. So I will definitely be posting more content on the regular. I would love to hear what you guys want to watch next, whether it's tutorials or reviews, or how to start into trading, technical analyses, live trading maybe could be also an option. I'm definitely open to all of it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you do not want to miss any of my videos, then hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.